Those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Amp2.tv presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on amp2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
And welcome.
You forgot your bell on that mic.
I don't even know if I have the right microphone.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't
Blast off. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to Tell Us Your Biz live from Oldies 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, and 1470 AM. I'm liking that shot of you. You're looking like you drank Alice in Wonderland's growth drink. You know where it says, "Don't drink me"? It looks like you drank it.
What'd I drink?
Whatever made you taller.
Made me taller.
You know, she walks through the forest and she says this thing that says "Don't drink," and she drinks and she gets bigger and then she gets smaller and.
You know, there's no pleasing you. I'm having all sorts of conniptions here, and you're making fun of me.
I like it a lot. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Tell Us Your Biz after hours, 7 o'clock on this beautiful Tuesday evening. I have to tell you, it is summer down here, 103, I think, on the heat index.
103. Where'd you get that?
My good friend, the weatherman.
You have a good friend called the weatherman?
I gotta tell you, when we had our good friend Chris Farrell, formerly of Channel 12, came up
That's
and
true.
gave us some great tips a few weeks ago on what it's like to go live on TV. You know, it was really nice.
You
Because when
listened.
things go sideways on live TV and live radio, he says, it happens all the time. You just got to get up and go. And the easiest way to keep the show going is how you keep the show going. And I like that a lot. As a matter of fact, on the 18th, which I believe is Monday, they're slotted to be live right here on
What's
one
the
of
18th?
our Tell Us Your Biz shows.
What's the 18th?
Monday the 18th.
What about
You
it?
have him slotted to come live with Paul
Who?
Solomon,
Who?
Chris Farrell,
I do?
uh-huh,
No.
and yes,
Are you sure?
and the therapist, 100%.
And he's coming?
We just need to confirm, but I know we moved
Farrell
it to the
ain't
18th.
coming.
He'll be here.
He's going to be playing golf, or he's going to be
Not
doing
on a
his
Monday
thing.
night. Anyway, I had to go run some errands today. You talk about business and growth and what it's like for small businesses, and we talk about what it's like for startups. And just to keep going business over the summer, I went into one of the big box office supply stores this morning.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I had to get some supplies for our office. Not only the fact that a ream of paper now is ridiculously expensive, it is double the price of what it was.
How
the
much is
last
a ream
time.
of paper?
It was 2 reams for $14.
What? You didn't buy that, did
I
you?
had to. It was the cheapest paper they had there. It was
No, you got to
$7.
buy the cardboard that breaks, barely makes it back to the store.
And this was their office brand
You got to go to Walmart.
paper, but I needed it ASAP. So anyway,
Next time, send me, because you
were-
spend too much money.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I couldn't believe it was $7 for a ream of paper. Sharpie markers were like $11, $10.98. I didn't buy those. I bought the other ones. But the price of goods that is so skyrocketed. But there was a big sign, store for rent as of December 2022.
Oh, they're going out?
Subletting. So it looks to me like they must have a long-term lease on this property, and they're going to be downsizing it and trying to sublet some of the space within this.
They don't
big
need all
store.
that room there.
They don't, and they don't have a whole lot of people working there, and things are spread out. There's not a whole lot of content, but it just shows you how business is changing. As a matter of fact, today is Prime Day, today and tomorrow. And I was thinking, you know
Talk
what?
it to your mic.
I was thinking, you know what?
Tell me.
I could have ordered that paper on Prime and gotten it by the end of the day.
I tried to
probably
show
for
you
half
that
the
today.
price.
I
Why
tried
did
to
we
show
even have
you.
this conversation?
I tried it because you left when I was doing the production.
I know. But I needed the paper, and I realized You got to do what you got to do. But that is why I order so many things on Amazon like everybody
I
else
never got
does.
anything on Amazon today that I wanted because
You have got till tomorrow.
you weren't there. No, it's only today.
Today and tomorrow. 12th and the 13th. So you've
Oh.
still got some time. What do you want?
Well, I got to sort of convince you that it's a good idea. So we'll continue that conversation.
Why does it look like you and I are not even in the same room?
Because you're on one side of the room, I'm on the other.
But anyway, that's what I'm thinking about growth and businesses, and it is affecting everyone. And if you're in business, other than the divorce attorneys, because I was reading an article today on a divorce attorney, very high-powered divorce attorney, $1,000 an hour she charges.
Well, I would say it's nice knowing you. Let me know when you get down to your Bronx discount.
She says, and what she tells her clients is, I'm making money the more you fight. So figure it out as best as you can, and then we'll go in and do the paperwork. Because to pay $1,000 an hour, she said, just doesn't make any sense.
Who is this?
I'm not going to say, but it's a well-known, I guess she's in California. She's the attorney to a lot of the stars. And she says it's not really about the money anymore because this is what her
Because
clients
she has
pay her.
all of it.
Exactly.
She don't need no more of it.
So it was a whole conversation on people not getting married anymore and what that looks
Oh,
like.
she's a divorce attorney? Oh, forget about it.
And about, common law marriages and people having medical insurance covered and existing and living together. Why do you have to be married to be next of kin if somebody gets sick? All of these things. So it was an interesting concept. And basically she says, don't get married. Or if you do get married, I don't know. That's a nice shot.
Who was
Who was that?
Who was that?
That was Marcia Teal.
Oh, Marsha Teal scared her. The
She did not realize
bejeebies
you
out
were
of
on
me.
camera.
She didn't realize it?
She didn't realize she was just on
yes.
camera now also.
That, ladies and gentlemen, would be Marsha Teal. We should interview Marsha Teal on a Tuesday night.
We should. She's like, oh my gosh,
We
I
should
can't
do
believe
that.
I was just on the camera there.
We can have some fun with it. Now, let me tell you, I wanted to talk something specific tonight. I wanted to talk about our association with the radio station Oldies and the impact that they're having on the community with music. And then I want to talk about how to get your business pumped up. Now, people are talking about shrinking in the summer. You know, shrinkage.
Steinfeld.
What?
Seinfeld.
Sci-fi. But you see this little magazine here?
Mm-hmm.
Very important tool. Very important tool.
Coffee News.
Coffee News, because people actually are reading it, and it has all sorts of advertisers. I remember when you and I started with this newspaper, there was nobody except you and me on different issues. That's
We
beginning
do have
to take
different
off.
issues. No pun intended.
What?
We have different issues. But I'm
No,
bummed.
you're in Boca, and I'm in.
You meant different publications. I know what you meant. I'm just making you think. We're
Okay.
challenging your skills of thinking and producing at the same time.
So the bottom,
Yes.
I'm just ignoring you. The bottom line is the Coffee News gets the word out.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk about doing certain things to promote businesses. So we got Lynn who opened up the editor's desk.
I am so excited about this show.
And the editor's desk is about authors and what do I feel things around me? The authors and things that they do in the written word. And Frank and a whole bunch of other authors are coming to this platform. So you have his book.
I have his book, but I'm excited to announce we have a new channel coming out on AMP Media Productions out of our studio in Boca Raton, and it is called SpiritLife.tv. And under the SpiritLife.tv network, which is a new landing page for all these shows, are these spiritually based shows, and one of them happens to be the newly resurrected Editor's Desk with a brand new host, Lynn Everard, who is not only an author, but he's also a coach to authors to help. He says 9 out of 10 authors do not complete their book. So he works with the 1 of 10 and completing their book. And it's so much spirit-based because you have to have true faith and spirit that you have this calling to write whatever book it is. And he gave us a little insight into his background today. Editor's Desk is going to be airing on Thursdays at 4 p.m. starting next month. So we've got about 2 weeks to get all those elements in place. But this is a book that he just put out with his partner, Luis Gomez, The Reuniting of 2 Past Lives and the Unveiling of the 12 Sacred Lessons. So what a great show we got to put together today with him, talking about past lives and soul connections and soul contracts. And he's also looking to write a book about any type of abuse. And they will be unnamed stories. So if you have a story that you want to share about abuse of any type from childhood as an adult, he is looking for people unnamed, and he will help put that segment together, and he's going to put it in a book and publish this book as well. So we introduced him to Frank Ruffolo, who just wrote a book on human trafficking, and that is out to be made for a movie.
To a movie, yes. So if you call, what's the phone number to call?
The phone number to call the radio station right now
Yes.
is 888-565-1470 and say hi to Dan.
If you call right now,
We're giving this signed book away.
we'll give you a signed book
And this
by the author.
book, what's fascinating about this
Authors.
book is Louise and Lynn found each other in this lifetime and then found out that they have a past lifetime together. So talking about souls and coming forward, and they were actually going to be live on this radio station Thursday night at 7:30. They're doing a first edition of the Editor's Desk live on radio.
That's right. So tomorrow during our either the morning show or the midday show. Now we're going to be in New York, so we only have one show, right? 12
No.
o'clock.
12.
To
We
do-
have 9:30, yeah.
So we're going to be giving out not only this book, because we have copies of this book to give out, but we have some from Frank, which I noticed that little by little they're disappearing.
I know, because people have been calling, people have been wanting them. I actually gave one of these away to Alita because she was fascinated by the topic. Alita Hernandez, who was doing her show today, rebooted the podcast. And she was looking at the book and looking. I said, take one. They're signed copies. So I'm excited that we're able to share the message. They sold over 120 books in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
At a brand new book. It just shows you that there is a calling, and people are definitely looking to get re-merged and immersed in the spiritual world.
That's right. And what I want to let people know is that you don't shrink in the summer. You expand.
It's
You
hard,
grow.
though, because
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
business slows down, income
Right, so
stops
you gotta be
coming in,
smart.
and then how do you do it?
You change up what you know and you put in other things that will help you grow. Like we didn't have an author's channel. Not only that, I got a doctor. I got a medical doctor. It doesn't matter what kind of doctor you are. What's the thing that helps a doctor? The
A nurse practitioner, or
practitioner.
an MA, or
and all these, you know all the letters. All those letters are included in all counties.
ARNPs, all of that. Okay.
All counties medical channel. We're going to introduce that because we want to give a platform. First of all, I want to thank all the doctors after what we went through
Right.
and what they went through and what they're still going through because there's another variant and all that out there. And we're going to give doctors an opportunity to express who they are, what they do, how they do it. And then we're going to take that show, we're going to put it on a page, a reference page. So if you need an eye doctor,
You can reference that one and find it.
you're going to be able to reference it.
Nice
and then you're going to
idea.
be able to see the video and the interview of whether or not you want this doctor to move on to the next.
Nice idea.
So we're coming up with that as well. Now, we've been in the radio film industry for over 7 years, close to 13 years. So what's happening is we're taking a new twist of the lemon and making a different type of lemonade. Doesn't mean that I'm slowing down. If anything, I'm expanding.
You know, one of the ideas I was talking to Lynn about yesterday when he was in talking about doing things is that we actually take our ideas and we bring them to fruition. He said a lot of people have ideas. They're going to do it, but it's the execution. He said the fact that we had this idea of spiritlife.tv last weekend, and within a week, we have a landing page, we've got our logo, we know where we're going with this. Editor's Desk, you and I looked at each other and both kind of said, yeah, I know. And he is taking this rocking and a rolling. He is looking for authors, if you want to come by and spotlight your book, to be interviewed, to do some promotion on it. And then we also have the opportunity to do some promotion live right here on Oldies 95.3 and 96.9, which is really exciting. Another way to level up your business off only a streaming platform, then take it to your next level of Roku, at Amazon, Real Radio.
And it's funny because if you walk down the street, there are businesses everywhere. And if you ask them to call in and do a shout out. So I sell Michelin tires. I sell tires. And I got a tire
Widgets? You
store.
sell widgets?
And if you don't call and let the public know, they're going to drive right by you and they're going to go to Costco and they're going to go to different places to sell these widgets because you're not telling them, I sell it. This isn't a matter of shrinking. This is a matter of not saying.
It's a matter of getting your visibility out there, amplifying your impact, and letting your voice and message be heard. And even authors, the amount of books that we have in our studio right now is absolutely spectacular.
And we're giving them away.
And we're giving them away.
Now, you brought in coach today.
She was great, right?
And
Coaching
she-
with Brooke.
And she was actually talking to the author. She wants to do a book. She has so much information. I could have kept that conversation going for hours. And this is going to the parents. If your child has ADHD, ADD, EFG, HIJ, all of these letters, I'm just saying, as a parent, you want to have the most information that you can have to help your kid get along.
You want to
And
get the resources.
She was amazing.
You know, one of the most amazing things that I love that we get to do every day is hear people's stories. And I said the other day, the kids were over Sunday night for dinner, and I asked everyone what they were going to do for their week. And they said, Mom, what are you doing? I said, we are making miracles happen. And they looked at me because every day, the stories that come through our studio, there's a person on the outside, there's this physical being. But when they actually sit and we get to talk to them sometimes for an hour and share their story and hear, like today, what Lynn told us,
That shocked me.
that was
You're going to have to look at the show tonight because I'm not even
wow.
going to bring that up.
Is all I can tell you.
I was floored. I didn't know what to do when
I
he
know.
came out with that information.
You didn't
about
know.
himself.
And when you interview and when you're in the media, you have this opportunity that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, like we had yesterday with Clarence Tate and the four of us. You have this moment of time, and do you take those questions and do you take that opportunity and ask sometimes the hard, pressing questions, or do you back off because it's a difficult conversation? So I'm sitting there listening to what he had to say, and that is in my head saying, do I take the next step and ask those pressing questions, or do you just say, wow, what a story, and leave it go? So I did. I actually asked more than I would normally because I'm hoping that with his stories would resonate with somebody. If Dan, if you tell me my mic's not on after 20 minutes, I'll be like, you're kidding me.
What is that?
Because
just check your phone.
I think that if you don't ask those questions,
Yeah.
that you lose an opportunity. Because maybe someone was listening or someone's going to go back in and listen to that show, and that his story will resonate with them, and truly make a positive difference. So I think when you're in a position like we have the opportunity to be in, you have to ask those questions.
That's funny. He wants me to end the show at 27.
He could
You
have
know,
told
it's-
us since he just walked
I
in.
mean, he walks in. People think that old time radio is like TV. You can't make a move, but streaming is all about the real. You know, you come in here.
But that's what you and I do.
But they don't understand that yet. Dan, you can always come in here and say, Freddie, you got to wrap up at 27. It's
The funny
okay.
thing is because you've got the door open, every time someone walks past that doorway,
You
they're
keep
on
looking.
camera.
And
Because
I'm-
I see everyone
I'm
walk
feeling-
by.
I'm feeling the vibe of
I
people
see
walking
Marsha,
by.
Linda's back and forth with her glasses and her coffee, and
I'm
Dan
like,
walks in.
what's
Jordana's
next?
going to be in next, and you've got your back to the door.
But that's exactly the way it is. You know, shows that we do, information that we bring. I always say Steve Kane is on in the morning till about 9, and a couple other shows afterwards. So if you want politics hot and heavy, you go to Steve Kane. If you want laughs and a little in the news and sort of try to make sense of what's going on around us. Now, we have the Brew Crew. There's about 8 of us in that room, and everybody has a difference of opinion.
the funny thing is that is the smallest room we have in
And
our
that's the one we
studio,
use.
and that's the one they love to use. You know what? They tell me they've got the most room there.
I don't know what that means.
I don't get it.
I guess it's more closed.
It's a 10 by
than-
10 room, and they like that room to all squeeze in there. But when I was talking about the interview, when he talked today about his story and that he's a and I'm just going to say, because maybe people go back and watch the story, that he is a product of incest in his family. And you hear this and you think, what do
I
you
wasn't
do?
going to bring that up, by the way.
You know, I'm bringing it up because maybe there's somebody out there listening that really wants to hear his story and wouldn't know to actually scrub through our show to find that, because it's not a headline. But it's really important to see who he is and hear the stories of people. One of the greatest gifts I think that we get to do is hear these stories and share them with others. And I noticed you got very quiet on that.
Because that's
Because
that's a
it's-
very painful moment.
Very. So what do you do when you're on air? Do you ask the questions?
Well, it would be
And I
nice to
did.
know it was coming.
I didn't know it was coming either. But when people feel that comfortable, which means they feel that comfortable in our studio,
But he shared it with the world.
to open up and share, which means he wants to make a difference, a positive difference in somebody else's life. And he didn't even find the story out till he was 50. Imagine living with that.
Again, the show aired today at 12. If you want to check it out, check out the second hour. It's
Amazing
when, he's on
information,
it.
right?
The whole show was great. I mean, the first part was even fantastic as well. She put on a nice piece of show today.
We talked about coaching. for ADHD, not only for kids, but for adults. And she said 300, she gave us some crazy statistic of people with ADHD are entrepreneurs.
Yes, most entrepreneurs
Have ADHD,
ADHD.
which I find really fascinating.
It is because Gio tells me he has ADHD.
And I think a lot of the greatest, you know, you look at people in tech world who have ADD and ADHD, and some of them have dyslexia, and the greatness that they have achieved. And I wonder if you have to push that much further and focus that much more to really get where you want to get, to focus, to set your intention to grow your business or grow your company or idea with that.
Not easy.
I was saying how I leave breadcrumbs around the studio when I walk in circles. Ever walk to your garage and wonder why you were there?
I can't say that I have.
So I walk to the refrigerator in the garage and I'm thinking, why am I here? And I'm standing there and I look in my hands and it's to put a cleaner on the shelf, maybe put the ladder back, maybe get the milk out of the refrigerator, because you do a million things that I do a million things at once. And it's just done in a step process. So I don't know whether it's ADHD undiagnosed or I just have open tabs in my head, is what she talked about.
Well, the funny thing is that I've begun to notice things that people do, and it sort of explains why they do them.
Such as?
Well, I don't want to get into that, but
Well, you have to explain what you mean.
okay, you clean like I've never seen anybody clean.
Do you know why?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you do know why
I
because
do
you
know
told me
why.
why, and you're 100% right.
And some people meditate in meditation, and some people meditate doing other activities, and that's the way you get along. It's to a point that no matter who does what, like I can clean, and Braxton can clean behind me, you're still going to do it because this is the way your thought.
It's how I
processes
think.
are.
Right, I can process. Besides, I want the studio clean, and there's certain things I can give away control on, and certain things I can't because it's sanitary and it's cleanliness. But when I vacuum, I do think and I process things. Like when I shower, I come up with ideas. There's certain routines I guess everybody has when they're thinking, and when nobody else is talking. No one's talking to me when I'm vacuuming, so I
Nobody.
actually have clarity of thought.
Everybody's
I've got peace of
actually
mind.
staying away.
Everyone's running away, right? So it's not, Dawn, can you do? Dawn, look at this. Look at this. What's the password for this? It's quiet. Baxton puts on headphones.
That's what gave it away, because I noticed that there are certain things that he does. Then I started to look at myself, and Linda will tell you, I put on music sometimes in the morning because it helps me think, not for anything else. Sometimes you got to raise that frequency to where you're at to make it work. So I'm beginning to understand more and more. I went to school today. I got educated.
You learned a lot today. You learned
did.
about the coaching, which I think you really liked, and she was a fellow NYU grad.
Yes, we went to Washington Square Park. I talked about when I was coaching with kids. And again, she's another one that I wish I had met when I was doing my coaching with children, because I wanted parents to understand that your children take you as the most important thing for them to learn of.
You know, the one thing I've learned as a parent,
What?
of all the mistakes I made raising my kids, because you think you're doing right by your kids,
It wasn't mistakes.
But-
It's a learning curve.
but when you look back, you think, wow, maybe I should have done that a little bit differently.
That's going to happen until you hit the grave. Everything is going to be, I should have done it differently.
But at the time, you're thinking you're doing it right, and then you look back.
But you look at your kids, they're well established, they're well rounded, and one is about to get married and have puppies. I mean, you know, the bottom line is you didn't do a bad job, so you can't really criticize the job you've done. It just isn't there.
But it's just the things that you do differently. But yeah, you've learned a lot. And now you got Jordana behind you also. A lot of things that we learned today in the studio. You watch how the minds work of our crew and what it takes for them to put things together. And they sit quiet. And this is a different
And
crew.
they're different too.
They're very quiet when
Yeah.
they sit together. There's not a whole lot of talking, and they collaborate, but then they go back and they're doing their work. It's
Well-
a different sense, a different crew vibe.
But they're more, they contribute more,
They're
which
doing
is what I like. But they do it differently. They do it through video, through audio. That's a norm. But then they do a lot of writing. They do a lot of thinking. They do a lot of moving art around.
And we had someone in today that's looking to buy some art. So if you're looking to actually upscale your business or your home, you're looking for art, check out our studio, because we've got about 8 spectacular artists, from colored pencil to abstract. We've got a new Om art, so it's all about intention and meditation. We've got some great work by Ali Lefcourt, Amy Rashevsky, Jay Harmon. We've got Stephanie
Berman.
Jaffe. We've got a lot of great pieces.
Ken Berman.
Kent Bieberman.
Beaverman. And we have the rent the art program. You can rent the art. Did you know this?
I did hear about that.
You can rent
To
our
stage
art
your home.
and stage your home or business. Just make sure it comes back the same way it left. It would be good to go.
It's a lot of great things. We have a great opportunity, and I really love that we get to share people's stories with the rest of our community and our world. You
So
know,
what do
Friday we got to celebrate 106,000 impressions on Facebook,
Yeah.
and they're all organic. We don't
That
buy
wasn't Friday.
leads.
That was today.
That was Friday.
Friday. Where are we now?
112.
117.
Wow. We don't buy leads. It's all organic, and it's all thanks to all of our viewers and listeners that actually either laugh with us, cry with us, sing along with us, whatever they do with us, and just have some fun.
Who are we having on the show tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're actually doing Women in Finance. I have Elise Roberts joining us. We're going to talk about women in finance. Not what to buy, but really, what are your investments looking like? What are you looking forward to doing? What is your retirement account doing? And if it's not doing what you want it to do, maybe there's time to start looking at different things. Because I really believe women, as independent as we all are becoming, we need to take a good hard look at our finances, whether we're single, in a relationship, whatever it is, and say, you know what, this is working, this isn't.
So
tune
why
in
women?
tomorrow.
Why can't it be men and women? I don't get that.
It can be, but previously in the past, men were notoriously the breadwinners, and they had control of the finances.
That past is so far gone.
But
I
it's
can't
still
see it
our
anymore.
generation
No,
and the
it's not.
generation
That's
before us, and
something
now
you
we're all
you
sort of
guys
stepping
make that
into
up.
it.
Listen, Lucy, we got to go. Say goodbye.
Say goodnight, Gracie. Tune in tonight. We've got Jordana Foster, Ready, Set, Go Beyond on the other side of this commercial break, and we'll see you tomorrow at the cafe at 9:30. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.